Welcome to the Maskani podcast. I'm sat here with very, very audacious men. My name is Onyango Otieno. I am seated with one very colorful Kwajdala mwenyewe.
Wagwan.
Yes.
That's his Facebook name though.
Kwajdala. Mm-hmm. Do you want to tell us your official government names? Is it not important?
The government knows where to find me.
Serikali iko na mkono mrefu.
But still, I'm Jagero.
Jagero.
My name is Jagero. People know me as Kwajdala. You can find me on Facebook as Kwajdala. But that's some name I gave to myself, or people gave to me, not my mother.
Hey.
Yeah.
And finally, we have one Oduor Jagero.
The loudest motherfucker in the building.
The loudest motherfucker in the building. Man.
I'm actually not loud.
My friend.
It's just my natural voice.
You were born loud?
Yeah.
That's your natural voice? You've always been like that?
Yeah, I was born loud. Actually. I was born loud. There is no way you can manufacture a voice.
Says Google and Siri and Alexa.
Can't manufacture a voice.
Anyway, that is the Maskani podcast. Maskani is a Swahili word for home, or simply as we know it in the streets, base, the chill base, you know. And here we talk about audacious things that we're never really, scared to talk about, but, people in our society, in our communities sort of feel like, these are conversations that are hard to have. And today we are actually excited to have a conversation around the nature of male intimacy, around men themselves, How are male friendships like? And this is in conversation to the kind of fathers we grew up with and how their friends were, how we came to understand male-to-male intimacy and how it has affected our day-to-day. I was talking to Jagero earlier today, and he was talking to me about how his wife asked him some 2 years ago if he has a best friend. And Jagero was like, at the time, he didn't have a best friend, and how do we look at best friends even as boys? Did we have this kind of people growing up? And even the idea of a best friend, is it Afrocentric as well? Did we grow up with these kind of things?
There is something we call BB what? BPF.
Best friend something.
Best friends forever.
BFF. It's not BFF.
BFF, yeah.
Yeah, it's a BFF. Forever. Yeah, something like that.
Best friends forever.
Yes.
I think there are people who maintained their friendships for the longest time.
Yeah.
For the longest time, I have a friend I met.
Use your mic.
I have a friend I met when I got to the Form 1. But I'm using my mic. Is it so low? You can't hear me. Yeah. So that ninja, we are still friends, and we're still talking, and I care about him like I would a brother. He does the same thing. So BFFs, as much as it might not mean the same thing now as it was then, because then there was a lot of color to it, a lot of responsibility that come with it. But now, this guy has been my friend for the longest time. You might not talk for a month, for weeks, but when you catch up, you just begin wherever you left. There's no feeling like, yo, nigga, you went quiet on me, you did what and did what. So I believe that best friends are there. Yeah, we have best friends.
I read a research that was saying that when boys are younger, they are very close. They have very intimate friendships.
When you say intimacy, it sounds weird.
Why does it sound weird? Because you only understand
the word intimate.
No, but it's just an English word. Why are you uncomfortable? Is it because it's connoted to sex?
It's nakedness.
It's a terrible word.
It's terrible because of your conditioning around it. It's not terrible as it sounds on its own.
Can we use another word though?
So what? Closeness.
Yeah, right. Closeness. Let's talk about closeness.
What are you afraid about intimacy?
Closeness is
when you talk about intimacy and you're talking about men, I feel like it's just weird,
Exactly. That's why we're having this conversation.
I feel like it's really, really weird.
That's why you're having this conversation.
The way ladies call each other babes. It's so weird.
Why do you think so?
it's just weird.
Why do you think so?
Like in Ricks, really. would I say that I'm having an intimate relationship with Jagero?
It's terrible.
But you've never idealized it before.
What?
You've never idealized it before. So, I mean, of course, the first time it comes to you, it has to shock your brain.
If I'm like, yo, man, this is my nigga. Jagero has been my friend for the longest time. We've done great things, man. This is
such an intimate.
The word is intimate.
What's okay? I have a computer here. Define intimate.
You look at the etymology of intimate.
Let's
believe
intimate.
While he's still searching, I believe intimate doesn't have to do with sex.
Exactly.
But at the same time, you have to give in to the pressure around you, especially if it doesn't cost anything to use more familiar terms, more welcome terms,
more agreeable
terms. Intimate relationships would sound better between a man and a woman or between girls.
Why?
I feel like that now. I'm looking at the definition of intimate.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is the way we have been. What is the word that you used? We have been conditioned.
Yeah.
To know that intimate means a particular thing. So according to the English dictionary, Oxford Languages. It means closely acquainted or familiar, intimate friends.
So simple.
Private and personal, which now goes towards sexual stuff, intimate details of his sexual encounters.
Private and personal doesn't mean sexual.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yes, also. Yeah. Very, very close friend.
Yeah.
His circle of intimates.
So Ricks was all right all this time.
It's just simple.
It's just the word. Like there is a time we were in college, and I'd read this book by Dan Brown.
Yeah.
And Dan Brown was talking about talking about character.
Yeah.
And the character was very gay.
Very gay.
Gay character.
Means sexual habitation?
No.
Or happy.
Happy and out there. And so we were in class and I was saying that this guy, I have a friend of mine who is very gay. And everybody was like...
Could I give you a joke about that before you finish that?
Close to your mind.
There was a time I was telling my ninja, hey, yo, I'm very gay. Even Jesus himself rode an ass. Don't do that to the Son of Lord. Don't do that to the Son of Lord. But you see, Jesus rode an ass. He did.
Quite literally.
Jesus rode an ass. He did.
I love it. And the Christian is getting offended.
And I was gay.
I'm a Christian, please.
I'm a Christian.
You not.
But he rode an ass.
Huh?
I'm a Christian too, and I felt gay that day, and Jesus rode an ass. Now you can go on with your point. Thank you.
You have insulted his savior.
Jesus wrote, it's not an ass, it's called what? Jesus wrote a mule. What is it? Is that
an ass. It's called an ass.
Yeah, but it's not same good word.
No, he's talking ass the donkey.
I'm talking
yes.
Yes, why?
Yeah, but if you okay, anyway, go ahead.
You are giving us an example about the Dan Brown.
Yeah, so it's just like the way people say that gay is a homosexual, but gay can mean something completely different in another context. Yeah. The etymology of it.
Etymology is the root, my friend. Okay. So you get the picture. So the research was saying that when boys are younger, they have more intimate relationships together.
Yeah.
And then as they get older, these separations start being evident, especially towards their puberty. And they get less emotional and less emotional, the older they grow, right? And they tend to lose that touch they used to have in their childhood, in their boyhood, amongst one another. So once they grow up more, they start focusing, for heterosexual boys, they start focusing their emotional, they center their emotional strengths on women. Especially kutoka puberty hapo hivyo, you start giving more attention to girls, emotionally even, you know? So the energy they used to have spending with boys, that one starts getting detached, you see?
Yes.
And I'm wondering if growing up in a culture not knowing what's really going on and how these separations are happening are affecting a lot of young boys today.
Yeah.
In that, you know, I have many conversations with a lot of boys and young men, and they keep telling me. The other day, I made a tweet that went really viral, and I was talking about how when I was depressed in 2017, it's my boy circle that came through for me. And these guys would come to my house and they would cook for me. They would wash my house. They would do my laundry. We had a DJ who would come and do live mixes in my house.
So you went and told them that you're depressed?
Yeah, I just talked about it. You know, they didn't know what depression was, but they could definitely tell. You see, the way you can just tell Kwaj is not fine. He's not okay. He's not himself, right? Even when we came to see you in the hospital.
But I went there. The man was just having the time of his life.
I don't want to go to the reasons as to why. We can keep it between us.
Let me read for you something that is very interesting by Vox.com.
Vox Media, yes.
Yeah, and you see that this is also very, very problematic, that all these things, they are coming from the US. But anyway, I think anything that's happening in the US is basically happening everywhere. Humans are just the same.
Yeah, okay.
So the US or Kenya is experiencing a friendship recession, and American or global men have been hit the hardest.
Global men?
Yeah. Men globally.
Okay.
So according to a study survey on American life and the Gallup, the percentage of men with at least 6 close friends fell by half.
6 close friends?
Fell by half in 1990 and 2021.
Wow, that's...
1 in 5 single men say they have no close friends. Research shows that social isolation can weaken the immune system and make someone more likely to suffer from a variety of ailments. So that is high blood pressure, inflammation, cancer, diabetes, heart disease, sleep disruption. So I think this is lack of friendship and intimacy. Can lead to death, actually.
Yes.
Some mental health experts like psychology professor Niboway think that the growing isolation of American men, and American men here I think is just used as a sample, but I think it is men globally, is contributing to societal violence. Very interesting. So why are men having so much trouble creating and maintaining relationships or friendships with their own gender? So men are living with their parent longer, and those that do often forgo making other friendships and bonds outside their home. And then there is changes in workplace might be contributing as well. People are working long hours, switching jobs more often, and going to the offices less than we were in the past. Okay, so those are the some interesting factors that men are less likely than women to share their personal feelings with and receive emotional support from their male friends.
Rix, back to the research that you mentioned that was saying that men tend to lose friendships as they grow older.
Male friendships, yes.
Male friendships. Do you think what comes in the way? Could it be the consciousness that comes with that closeness, especially when it comes to? I remember seeing my younger brother. We'd hide somewhere, and then my younger brother had a friend, and watatembea wakiwa wameshikana hivi, mwingine ameweka kichwa yake hapo, wanatembea hivi. And when we're like, no, these niggas have such a fine friendship. I mean, I'd like to experience this. This is beautiful. But it seems at that point we had outgrown that. Do you think we become is it our growth in terms of age? Or is it the general change in our environment and how society views male friendships? Another example, we went to visit our friend, a musician in Kisumu. And then we've eaten, we've had fun. And then we are now taking photos. And the nigga is like, yo, stand there. Stand there. You mtu atauliza nani anadinywa hapa. Is it the change in society, how people view men who relate that close?
I think,
or is it age?
I think it's politics. And I'll explain why I think it's politics. Okay. Now, I have a theory that the way we are socialized in the binary world as of men and women, in the binary sense of things, right? Women were socialized to be caregivers. And with caregiving, you have to be emotionally centered, to be very alive to your environment, and especially your internal environment, so that you can care for the people around you. And that meant children and their husbands. For boys, you are conditioned to use your body for capital in your adulthood. Okay? We are talking about this world of industrialization. Because when we go back, I don't think these were issues that were there in our, especially indigenous communities, because people spent more time together. They hunted together, they gathered together, they cooked together. So friendships were definitely intimate by nature. But because of these political divisions as of industrialization, rooted in industrialization, and I would dare also say colonialism and imperialism, white imperialism, this divide was necessitated by the need for development. And there was not going to be a way that development would work without these divisions. All right? So now men are brought up to be pillars of production. Okay? And if I'm using your body to produce, it means you can't have time to feel. Because you're a machine, you're thinking all to produce. You don't have time to feel, to get in touch with your emotions. You don't have that. All right? I can see how Jagero is really trying to put the A to B to C. Okay? You don't have time to feel. You're always on the move of how do I produce so that I can take care of my family back in the house, so that I can earn more money to take care of my people. All right? So you're constantly thinking about where your next bread is going to come from. Okay? And at the same time, the man leading you up there does not care so much about your family. All right?
You know, there's something that, when you talk about socialization, I don't know whether I disagree or I agree. There's something that happened to me when I was in primary. And you know, when you're talking, when you're saying that, I was just thinking, what was going on? So there is this organization called Aga Khan, and Aga Khan used to do different things for different communities. So they can either come to your school and sink a well, they can come and do latrines, you know, those outside latrines. They could come and plant trees or do other things. But then when they come to school, there is usually a small presentation for the guests that come. So this day they came, and then what did they say? They took me. I think I was very young, and another girl. I have never understood why they did that. So we were supposed to be. I don't know. I think they were just picking people that were well dressed, or were having new uniforms and shoes. So I had shoes and new uniforms, and then there's another girl that had shoes and new uniforms. So we were picked and placed strategically in front, just the two of us on one desk. And I remember I cried so much that they had to withdraw me and put another boy. Because I thinking that I didn't want to be next to a girl. You get?
Nobody wanted that. Nobody wanted to sit with a girl.
You see, and it's very interesting that when you are young, very, very young, you don't want that proximity with girls. and then it suddenly changes, right? It suddenly changes, and now you want, because you said that when you are young, you want to be with the boys. Then now you leave the boys and gravitate towards women. You see,
if you're heterosexual.
Yes. So I'm just wondering whether is this really socialization, or this is just nature? Because then and the other question then is, why do we leave male friendship and tend towards women or people of different gender or whatever?
I think it's just a different bodily need. It's just a different emotional bodily need. There's a way a woman listens to you that a man can't.
Is it true though?
I think so.
And that is where I'm also wondering, how did it, for example, so if we are 5 years old right now, we want to spend all the time together, doing things, and cheza wapi unarudi meparara nini. You see, we'd talk still. Kids talk. They say about their issues with each other and stuff like that, And you imagine that my friend Agak will hear and they will understand me. They will hold me and we'd walk. Right. Yeah. So how does that go? And yes, there is the feminine touch. I can understand what you're saying. The feminine touch where, you feel like there's a way. This girl, like she would listen to me and she would hold me, and her essence just feels like.
And I think that is how men lost themselves, thinking that they are going to get solace from women. You can't get solace from women.
So it's not solace you're seeking. It's just a physical response. When there are places only a woman can touch me. If you touch me, they were like, "Oh, yo, motherfucker, what's wrong with you?" It's just a natural response.
And then what then I think that the reason why we have lost the way is that we have gone too much in. I mean, my understanding of now coming back to solution sort of. Yeah. I feel like yes, it is. What? It's Ricks and his women. Ricks and his woman. Say that relationship, that intimacy is perhaps better, more exciting, lovely. It ends up in coming
and going.
Thank you.
But I feel like men need to yes, women are important. But I feel like and you see that is why you go to a woman. I don't know whether this is a controversial statement. I feel like you can go to this woman, you have the best of your lives, and after 6 months it's normal. It's not likely to happen with men that you're very close with.
Yes.
It will not be that short. It will not be such a quickie. I think male friendship is not going to be a quickie like the one that sometimes we experience with the ladies.
Actually, male friendships I think last longer.
Yeah, they do last longer. And so I feel like tulienda sana. We instead of just saying, okay, women are exciting, let me have some intimate relationship with women, but also that reminds me of something that I talked with your friend Manu. So when we were driving from your place with Manu, and Manu said something to the effect that he feels like what his experience, he feels like if he gets married, he will no longer play FIFA. He said a statement to that effect. Okay? And then I asked him what, and he told me that there is a friend that he used to play FIFA with. And the day that motherfucker got married was the end of him and FIFA. So the guy never plays FIFA. So it is like for him, he was feeling like FIFA is for people who are single, unmarried, having a lot of time in their hands. And I was like, yo, that is not it.
That's a wrong way to look at it.
Yeah, because I have been married for how many years? For 7 years now. And FIFA is one of the things I enjoy most. And right now, if you took away FIFA from me, I think I'm gonna die. FIFA. My wife can't give me FIFA.
Would they rather take the wife and leave you the FIFA game?
Oh no, I'm not gonna answer that question.
what Manu is saying, what Manu is saying.
I never finished my thought, by the way.
Okay.
What I was saying is that let us just explore both worlds.
Yeah.
You know, the world, the friendship, the intimacy that we have with women is quite different from the intimacy that we'd have with our fellow boys. Yeah. Now it is so funny that I'm now using the word intimacy.
Thank you very much for your conversion. That is how you became a Christian also.
We thank Lordy.
I think that let's just strike a balance with our friendship with men and friendship with ladies.
Yeah.
I think that is going to solve a lot of problems. Ukienda sana wende kutafuta wasichana, especially in this city, you're gonna
go.
It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard.
Yeah.
So striking a balance is a good thing.
I was listening to this therapist called Esther Perel. And Esther Perel was talking about one of the problems we are having in modern day relationships.
Yeah.
And she was saying how we have given one partner the work of a village.
Yeah.
Yeah. They are your sexual partner, your financial confidant, your spiritual partner.
Man,
they are everything. They are your co-parent, everything.
Man. And you get tired of it.
You get tired. It's really not tired. Sustainable.
And you get really bored.
Yes. Yeah. So that's why it's easy to cheat. Exactly. Because of that kind of situation.
So perhaps you're looking for a financial confidant also.
You know.
So does she say that it's an overwhelming?
It's unsustainable and incredibly. It's like a corporate relationship.
Yeah.
You see, where it's like everything is just centralized in a way that it's like the way the nuclear family came to be, and then now the village was separated from you, and now you concentrate all the power in one place. You see. That is not sustainable for anybody's well-being. Yeah. So what Koa is saying is that we need to balance out, and even that what Manu is saying, because I understand where he's coming from, and for me it's also a sorry state with marriages today, where you have to change who you are.
I think I have been. My wife has told me several times that myself and herself and I do not look like we are in a
marriage.
Yeah. Because they just feel like it's friendship.
Yes.
And I love it. Because then my wife knew me for like 7 years before we got married, and she understood the things that I love. I love good things in life.
Yes.
I love playing my FIFA. I love, doing different things. I like designing. I like going out with friends a lot and doing all these things. And one of the things that I really love about my marriage is that it has given me the opportunity to be myself, to experience life more. You see, but there are marriages whereby you have to call your wife, at 11 a.m. Umefika job. After lunch, you go to lunch and you call. During Valentine's, it is man, during what? So it's just like the rules that are set, and they're just landmines in this marriage all the time. I forgot my wife's birthday, and she didn't leave me. Because and it's a sorry thing that I forgot her birthday, but you see, I was brought up in the village where we don't celebrate birthdays. And so I had to make a reminder, put a reminder on phone about birthdays, because I don't really care. My birthday comes and I So Mimi, I bought my wife a gift in her birthday is 24th of August. I bought a birthday gift in June and gave her, this is for your birthday.
In advance. Yeah.
So that is for me, and she understands me. There are places where we are still struggling.
Yeah.
But basically understanding that this person is not. She was born in town.
Yeah.
Born in town, born in Nairobi, raised in Nairobi.
Yeah.
hardly goes to shags.
Yeah.
You can imagine the difference between these two people. I was in the village until 20 years and above. You see, so I think that is basically the difference, and giving people breathing space, and then allowing and one of the things that women don't do a lot today, women that are married or women that are in relationships, they tend not allow men to go out and meet with their male friends. And that is problematic, because then there is always suspicion, with good reasons.
Yes, of course.
With good reasons. That wewe umetoka, umeenda weekend, yote. And you are claiming that you're just with your man. She doesn't believe it. You see, but I think that you should be able to know your man. Know your man. This man, hata kama ako ndani ya nyumba, anaweza cheat. So because surely what does it take to bed a woman these days? This is an Airbnb in this city.
Airbnb.
Na nyumbani ameosha tu mkono, ameosha tu, like they say in the Bible, that this lady that was on the streets, and then she sleeps with other men, and goes to the bathroom and comes out and says, I didn't do anything.
She belongs to the streets. She belongs to the streets.
So the women in our lives just need to know that men really need male friendship, and that thing. And when a man goes out to do anything, there are people who play soccer, there are people who play ward, there are people, all manner of things.
But Jagero, where you are going right now, I think we need to ask. When Manu says, using Manu as an example, when Manu says that if he gets married, he will stop playing FIFA.
Yeah, I didn't say that. he said that looks like.
That looks like might be the end of him playing FIFA.
Yes.
When he says that, do you think, is it the wife apportioning, putting him, checking on him, or putting those laws?
It goes back to what Drake is saying.
Yes.
Socialization and conditioning. Somebody might have been conditioned as a lady that as a man, once you get married, you leave the boys that are single.
And even men are socialized like that.
So the problem is coming from the woman.
It's both. It's just
from
both.
all over.
It's from all over the place.
All right.
Yeah.
It can be even coming from you.
Yes.
You have been conditioned that once you get married and you're a man, you stop associating with men who are single.
Yes.
And busybodies, in quotes.
Is it conditioning or is it necessity?
Can you explain that conditioning shit? I don't
think it's a necessity.
Could it be
it's the idea of what a nuclear family is. It's the idea of what a nuclear family is.
Yeah.
Because a nuclear family essentially means all your energy, your presence, your sex, your parenting, your intelligence, nearly all of it is taken up by your family.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Nuclear families and their setup barely gives you time even for yourself. Yeah. Even for yourself.
That's true.
So what time will you have for friends?
Yeah.
Structurally speaking. Because Monday to Sunday to Friday, you're at work. Yeah. So in the weekend, you're expected to be with your family.
Or take them to Chipo.
Somewhere. You have no time. There is no time.
That is the necessity.
So is it a necessity or something that has calibrated by that condition?
I want to give you two men here. All married. One is a motherfucker that does small things, get paid huge money, he has leisure time. He can afford to play FIFA. Another ninja works throughout. Nigga works on a Sunday. Nigga works on a Saturday. That doesn't even have the time for the family. In that case, is it conditioning? Is it prior conditioning that is doing this? Or is it an economic situation?
Okay. So now,
is it a necessity?
Where you're coming from, then now that is a class conversation, which now validates your argument around the necessity it is.
Yeah.
You see, because for example, if Jagero wants to be playing FIFA on his weekends, but really hustle imekuwa ngumu. Concrete jungle imemweka ngumu. He won't have time. He really won't have time, and that is also many people's realities. If we are being honest about
so I think to answer Gak's question properly, there are two scenarios, and you talked about them. There is somebody who is sitting in the house and saying, socialized and conditioned, that you shouldn't be out and about with ninjas that are unmarried and have no responsibilities. That's how they are called. You see, so this is somebody who has time but can't go out because of conditioning. And then there is somebody who is not really at home, is working. Like there is the other day I wanted to go and watch soccer with this gentleman, Orato, and he was at job on Saturday. He didn't even get to watch his Man U game. You see, that is different. The moment he was out of there, he was already in town watching Arsenal playing. You see, there is a clear difference. So
Jagero, just to make this clear, Rex. So there are men out there who will have time for FIFA.
Yes.
But won't play because they're just married.
Yes.
Exactly.
That's new.
Yes.
For sure.
Like, I've got the time, I've got everything, and my friends are there, but I can't play because
But you see now, even this conditioning, Checky, even that conditioning already removes the idea that you have time.
Yes.
It removes the idea
you don't
that you have time.
Yeah.
So you might have time, but you don't think you have time. Why?
Yes.
Because of where you are socially.
Yeah.
Because you have a family, you have children, you have to be there for them.
So you have a wife and 2 kids, and your life begins to become very structured.
Yes.
It is work during the day, during the entire week. You go home and sit on the sofa and watch some boring. My wife even wanted us to be watching movies together. I don't do that kind of thing.
I don't do that kind of.
I don't watch movies together with people. I'm like, we started watching with her in the evening. We go to work. I come home earlier because I don't have a job myself. And I continue, and he's like, why did you continue
without me?
So weird. So what we were telling you is it's very structured.
This
person has a job. In the evening they go and watch Netflix. Weekend comes, they go out and have a picnic with the family, right? And then they go back home, and then on Sunday morning they in a white shirt and they're going to church. They come back in the afternoon. And probably the woman has gone to one of those things for Changai money, and he remains with the kids.
Oh Lord,
there is a house help. He can leave in the afternoon on Sunday at 3, go play socks, FIFA, and come back. But what Onyango is saying is that they don't even think they have that time.
They don't even see that they've got it. Like, is it the guilt? Is it the guilt that now I'm supposed to be with my kids? I've been
It's actually the same. It's actually the same with these situations where, because we've been conditioned again that a man always has to be earning more money than his wife. So if you have a wife who's earning more money, there are many situations where the woman passes money
under
to
the
dude so that the guy can buy. She feels guilty. It's from the conditioning. You just feel guilty that, hey, you're leaving your family to go be with the boys. Now, watoto wako nyumbani inabidi. You see. But I have a question for this dude. I need to be careful with how I ask it. But so, is there anything that you would say you do with your wife? You say umesema you don't watch movies with her. Like, are there things that you would say you just do with your wife as things you do with her that you both of you enjoy pamoja?
Yeah, there are a couple of things. I mean, we play this mchezo what is it called? I forget the name. The English one, Scrabble.
Okay.
Scrabble, yeah.
We play Scrabble with my wife. We watch a movie once in a while with my wife. Sometimes we go out for dinner or lunch together. We do things, but one of the things I'm very careful as a person is trying to do things the way people do them.
Yeah.
You know, the script that has been written for families to follow.
Yes.
Yeah.
The script that has been written for single men to follow. The script that has been written for religious people to follow.
Yes.
Those scripts are very problematic.
Yes.
And because they don't, most of the time they don't give you happiness.
Yeah.
They curtail your happiness and they make you miserable. And I think when we come back to the question that we're talking about, men not sharing their problems, it's the same thing. We have been conditioned that you're a man, you're a stone, you know, people should step on you and you shouldn't feel any pain and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. So I feel like that is, the scripts that are written for us to follow are not very nice most of the time. Yeah.
I have a thought, and Agak can chime into this.
Yeah.
That one of the reasons why we have struggled with this emotional expressions and male intimacy again is very much connected to our relationships with our fathers.
Yeah.
When you were younger, right?
Okay.
Because I remember when I was young, we were very close with my father. We were those were my best years, actually, I would say. Before I was 7 years old.
Yeah.
This guy would put me on our living room table and put sukus. Have you listened to sukus? I lose my younger sister, you know? And that Sanyo radio over there, and he would just tell me to dance for him. That's how I grew up, actually. I was dancing on tables until when I was 14 years old. Meza ilivunjika ikabidi tuache hiyo biashara. Unajua? Yes. We will sit down, and you know, those years, like watching music videos were very rare on TV. So there were like particular programs just for music videos. And we loved
them.
Yeah, and we loved this Lingala music and rumba so much. So my father and I would just sit on, kulikuwa na channel ilikuwa inaitwa STV. Every Friday from 7 to 10 p.m. We were just there with him, just watching Papa Wemba, Kofi Olomide, all these musicians from the DRC and stuff like that. I loved those years. But then with the time, I'm growing older and this guy is also getting more money and he's growing distant. I can just feel. Now, nikipatwa nikidance kwa nyumba, sasa napigwa. The dance that ilizoewa, nikiwekwa kwa juu ya meza, you know. So all of a sudden, it's now, and I'm now in my teenage. This same time, I'm also losing friendships with boys around me, you know. And there's also the issue around migration, by the way. You know, umetoka Ocha, for example, ama mmehama hapa na hapa na hapa, your friends who you are really tight with, ndio wale. And then you're also growing, now making friends is becoming even harder and harder. I don't know how girls do it, man. They just have a way of sort of, you know, sisi bana, you know, like 17 going up, just opening up to some other new person, new guy, like just like that. It's not the easiest of things. But I was wondering, like, if the stories around our relationships with our fathers really affected also how we viewed ourselves as men and how we view other men as well. You know, like for you, for example, if I'd ask you, like, would you say you are close with your dad?
While young?
Yes.
No. If my father walked in the room, you walked out. If you saw him, like, the way our home was built, huku ni nyumbani, and then there's a hill. So you'd see him coming from atop the hill.
Where is he coming from?
From school.
Jesus is
from school.
He was a teacher.
He's a teacher. So you see him coming from atop the hill and like, oh, yo.
It's about the rain is coming.
Sometimes tunapanda nyumba yenye haijaisha. Sasa hiyo tulikuwa na nyumba yetu imejengwa. Sasa tunapanda juu. Ama unapanda juu ya mapera. So you watch him. Actually, my elder brother and I think my childhood was father, ukimwona, if you saw father, unatoka. Unless you had a book you wanted to read. If he found you reading, well and good. If you weren't reading, man, ujui shida itatokea wapi. You just never knew mahali problem itatokea.
Yeah. What were some of the problems that you took?
I think I wrote a story, and in that story I said it begins like, my father was an Adolf Hitler. Yeah.
Tough. T for tough.
Yeah, like you won't know. ile unajua kuna ile makosa yenye umefanya ile yenye unajua manzee home mtachapwa leo, you are prepared psychologically for that. For my father, you didn't know what you did wrong. It didn't have to end up in a beating, but you just know something is off. You knew adults, you don't play close to adults. So if you saw the father come in, you walked out, found something else to do. That was how it was. And then later, when I'm now old, I'm an adult, we could now go to a bar and buy beer and drink together. But
when did that transition happen then?
You never watch it. It's not something that you say ilianza kufanyika hivi. But let's say after high school, wakati uko college hivyo, kuna space unapeanwa. Like you can now get away with some sins. You can now, in high school, after high school, you can now go to disco matanga, you know, akuja pate huko hapo, si shida. But before that, disco matanga iko na amepata umeenda disco matanga, kwanza utapata kifuli kwa mlango.
Okay, inji.
So ukirudi utakaa inyo na mgoja asubuhi. And then asubuhi kichapo, you know. So that was it. A very militant upbringing.
And I think that's something a lot of men, the issue of space.
Yeah. I think, and my father was, I didn't like him. I think I never ever liked my father because he was not a friendly guy. Well, he could tell stories, very, very unbelievable stories. It is from him that I knew so many political stories because he was telling me about the coup he was telling. But all this he will tell you only when he's drunk.
Yes,
he will never tell you a story when he's not drunk. And he was a very serious disciplinarian, just like his father. I think his father was very violent. My grandfather, Jagero himself, was a very violent man. And that guy, he almost killed me once.
Jagero
my grandfather, yes. And we basically grew knowing that these guys were not good guys. My grandfather was not a good guy. I saw my grandfather almost killing a cow. This guy, there is this problematic cow that was called Nyabondo. Debondo. So this ilikuwa imezoea kurukaruka sana. You know, my grandfather took a rod. You know the ones that they use for the cow shed, the ones that they put across. The guy took this rod and literally hit both horns. Zikangoka.
Hivi ama karusha?
No, hakurusha na mkono.
Bam.
Zikangoka. He was extremely violent. This guy, my grandfather, found one of my uncles. It was a very cold evening.
Yeah.
So this gentleman called Abunji was supposed to be taking care of animals.
Yeah.
He found the guy akiota moto next to the mother, my grandmother. The guy took my uncle's hand akaweka kwa hiyo supu.
Damn.
Akaweka kwa hiyo supu.
Ikachemkia ndani ya supu.
Si alitumbukiza tu. It is the grandmother that fought him.
Shit.
He's dangerous. So one day I was supposed to be the one grazing. So I go to then because I was like, okay, I'm tired of grazing today. So I go to Owiti's home to just chill there. Owiti's making his mat there, and I'm just on Diri. Yes, I'm just chilling there with his kids.
Yeah.
And so this guy suddenly shouts my name to run. And when I lift my eyes, my grandfather is just some feet away from me and unleashes the rungu.
Where?
Towards where I was seated. Yeah. And this thing comes and hits the wall. Ikawacha shimo hapo.
You should be dead.
And that was the case with my father too. They were just very, very... My father used to tell us to go under the table and chill there. He doesn't want people seated on his chairs. He just did...
Wow.
You guys, you had mad people.
Wow. No, but these things do happen.
But it was such a wrong human, you know.
And we thought it was okay for us to go under the table.
It is sit under the table?
Yeah.
Because you are not supposed to be sitting upon the chair or what?
Yes. I don't know for what reason. And looking back, it was not a very good show of how you're supposed to and my father was a serious drunkard. So he was battering our mother. He was a wife batterer together with his cousin. They would go and spend the rest of the day just drinking next to River Nyando. And then come wailing and singing songs whose meanings I've never known up to now.
Yeah.
And just there is a time I remember he beat my mother because my mother, he thought, had stolen his 50 shillings. But then, do you know what this motherfucker did?
Uh-huh.
He took the money and then he just put it reru. Do you know what reru is?
I know reru.
The space between the roof and
between the roof and so anybody could access it or what?
Yeah. So that is why he went and put the 50 bob, but he couldn't remember.
Oh.
So actually nobody stole the money.
Oh my God.
He just forgot.
He just forgot where he put it.
Oh my
And he was just extremely violent.
Okay, Jagero, you and niggas were your father, your grandfather,
and so were my uncles. They were just people that really were not very friendly to kids. So you go and graze, bring the animals back. If you don't graze, we will beat you up. You know. So it was not my relationship with my father was just, I think it was on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say 0.
No, that's actually that is sad.
Jagero,
That is actually sad.
I wouldn't say my father was violent. I'd say he was a strict disciplinarian and then someone who was just tough to
my father never used to cane. My father would box you if you didn't cane.
But you see, you know the other thing about what Agaki is saying.
Yeah.
Do you know in my therapy work, there are so many people who in the beginning they tell you they had a normal family. So many people come to me. I ask, so what kind of we were just a normal Kenyan family. And then you start asking the questions.
And then you realize it was normal.
Because this one thing we call disciplinarian, in our culture, they are very much together with violence. Very much together.
It is violence.
Mm-hmm. Then you get to hear, I ask, why were you being beaten? I didn't know. That is violence.
No,
it's just violence.
Man.
It exists in a scale. Or a spectrum for that matter, you know. So, but all of it has the same effects because a child essentially just feels unwanted. You just feel like you don't belong. You hate, detest.
You detest
your
home.
Caregivers, your home.
You detest home. You don't want to come back
home. I used to feel safer at school.
I also used to feel safer with my grandmother.
See, you're just like in a space. To date, by the way, I don't like even looking at my father in his eyes. I could throw stones, my friend.
But you see now, if my father was alive today, I would try and have a conversation with him, because I thought that he was a very interesting man, but he was chasing so many of his ghosts,
or were the ghosts chasing him?
Because he finally died of depression.
Oh.
You know, and I really wanted to know who my father is. I really can't tell, because when I look at the picture of my father in Mombasa, you know, he looks like me now. And they are sitting on a boat with a friend of his and they're really smiling. You know, and he's not the father that I knew. The one I see in Mombasa, the one I see in school, it's not the same dude. So something.
I know what you mean.
You see, so I thought that my father was a very, very interesting man, and I think my father lost himself at some point, and it's either alcoholism, it's either having many children that you can't feed. I mean, don't have so many children you can't feed, bruh. because that you lose yourself. You lose yourself when you have so many responsibilities, so many. If you have a shit show, you can't be a human being.
Yeah, for sure. My dad was a teacher, and I was somewhat lucky to have gone to the same schools he was teaching. And it was a very interesting experience because I saw him at work and I saw him at home.
Yeah.
And like you say, he was very different in those two spaces. So my dad is a very charismatic man. His storytelling is stellar. I'm telling you, I loved being his student. In class, the man is gifted. He's gifted. Gift of the gab. He's good. He's good at his shit, you know? But at home, he was a monster, man. The man was a monster. So a lot of my friends, when I was older and now I found a voice to speak and started telling these stories, they just couldn't get it. Like that same man who was your dad, our teacher.
By the way, there is a very different way how people suddenly change spaces.
Yes.
Like you see those army people that are so vibrant at work and and they come home and they're being slapped by their wives and then they can't say, but can you really slap the guy at work?
You can't. It's very interesting.
It's very interesting, and I think it goes back to our psychology.
Yes.
Of and inability to think that, like for example, somebody who is kidnapped and has been tortured can be left in a car in the middle of nowhere and who would want to escape.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think that it's just in the mind. But anyway, so how do we? This was the first episode.
Yeah, I mean, we agree that it's important to have some sort of balance in our relationships, and especially because boys have really struggled with intimacy amongst each other.
Yeah.
I was telling you about the conversation my sister started up in her Instagram stories. She's 20 now, and she was talking about how it was a meme, the way girls call each other babes, you know, and why is it harder for men to do the same?
Sisi tutaitana umbwa.
Paka.
And if you call me, you don't call me that. I'll just call back, man. Are you alright? Are you okay? Are you sick today?
And so, but mostly, that conversation mostly goes back to the fear of being associated with gayism. Male intimacy, it goes back. You're not really afraid that you'll be called other things. You're saying you're afraid of gayism. Yeah, because unakuwa close na mimi ni homo. Venye unasema hapa, nani atakuwa karibu na mimi, watu watauliza nani anadinywa. Unaona? So it is that fear. You see? And we actually don't know that African cultures were very, very fluid. And we can have this conversation another day.
Yeah.
But, gay laws were actually introduced by our colonialists.
Yeah.
It was not there. It didn't exist. So because a lot of these colonial mentalities got ingrained in our cultures, we started taking them as our identity. So that's why you say African culture. But it is mostly post-colonial African culture, you see. But yes, balance in male friendships, even as we concentrate, and for heterosexual men, as we concentrate on our women and nuclear families, for those who are, what is the opposite of polygamist? Monogamous. Yeah, those who are monogamous, okay? And we are saying that it's important to just have balanced relationships and for guys to just start opening up with each other. This has been a very interesting conversation, the Maskani podcast. I have been yours, Onyango Otieno, or if you'd like, Rick's Poet, and see you next time.
Thank you very much.